So yeah, I got my hair up. It's probably a little weird, but I will. Um, I figured that I would come back and talk about relationships part three. And let's see, I left off. She left. And then I stayed single for a few months. And then I met someone else. And, you know, me and her were together for a while. I moved down to Tennessee for her. Um, I kind of always had this feeling that I cared about her more than she actually cared about me. You know, she was the one that was less affectionate, and, you know, I was the one who would draw her pictures, write her letters, you know, something like that. Um, but, you know, I never really actually got those things in return. And I'd caught her in a lie a few times. I um I think she was in the shower and her phone went off, and I looked at it, and it was some other girl saying, you know, I miss you, baby, when you come back home and visit me. And I was just like, who's this? And my girlfriend at the time told me that it was a colleague of hers. They were talking to the girl because the colleague had a boyfriend but didn't want him to know she was talking to this other girl, so she was using my girlfriend's phone. But there was all of these conversations, like, I'm just saying, when did she have time to talk to her that much? You know? So, like an idiot, I was just like, okay. And then she got to where, you know, she didn't really want to be very intimate or anything like that. And I was just like, you know, okay, I get it. Libido drops, it happens. And she ended up getting a new phone. And she told me she could never remember the password to her phones because they changed so often. And I had a really crappy phone. She said that she had to update her Apple password, her password on her phone, like once a month or something, because it was required. I didn't know anything about iPhones. I didn't have one. I had a little cheap Samsung phone. But she got a new phone, and then I was looking at her old phone because I was thinking about taking it over. And I found gay porn on her phone. 2 dudes. I also found solo dudes solo. And I'm just like, why do I keep moving my chair? I'm sorry. So it hurt really bad because I have insecurities with men anyway, because I've always got the short end of the stick whenever it came to them. Like, you know, my first girlfriend wanted to be with a man, so we broke up. And then the next girlfriend cheated on me in the Walmart parking lot. No, the next girlfriend had the boyfriend, ended up choosing him in the end, and I'm gone. And then the third one cheated on me in the parking lot with a dude. And then this next one stopped being intimate with me. Turns out she was watching dude porn. And I asked her, I was just like, are you bisexual? Do you think you're straight now? Like, and she broke down and crying, I don't know why I want to watch it. No, I don't want to be with a man. And, it just felt really crappy. It made me feel like I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't what she was wanting. So, we tried to get past that, but I had a really, really, really hard time letting it go. But I didn't hold it over her head or anything. But I think it did attribute to the further decline I had into depression. And I wasn't taking any medicine. I wasn't seeing a doctor or anything. I was too busy working constantly. Because whenever you're working a full-time job, you don't have time to go see a therapist or, do regular doctor checkups and stuff like that. You just don't have time. You don't have time to really take care of yourself whenever you're working a full-time job. So I don't know. She was just always very kind of secretive, and I don't know. But I put a lot of my faith and trust and love into that. And then one evening we decided to get Taco Bell. And we're like, okay, let's eat it in the bed and we'll watch a movie or something. Because, we just wanted to relax. Sorry I keep doing this. Sorry. I don't know why. It's habit. I guess nervousness. I don't know. But that night we ate dinner in the bed. And I was playing with my straw for my drink. And I wrapped it up into this funny shape. And then I put it on my lips. And I was like, give me a kiss. And I leaned in, gave her a little peck, and then literally 3 minutes, maybe not even that long after, she was like, I don't want to be with you anymore. And I was so in shock. I was just like, okay. And then whenever it finally hit me, I was just like, I don't understand this come out of nowhere. She was just like, I think you would be happier back at your with your family, and I don't feel that way for you anymore. And so I was so distraught that she ended up leaving and going to her mom's right after that. I stress cleaned, I guess you could say. I cleaned the entire pantry, scrubbed it down. Then I scrubbed all of the cabinets in the kitchen, swept, mop, dusted, just anything to keep me going and to where I didn't have to sit down and think about it long enough. And my friend that I worked with ended up coming and getting me, and I stayed the night at her house and did not sleep at all. She slept next to me. I stayed sitting up in the bed staring off into oblivion until the next morning, and I wasn't eating. So my ex made me come home, and she made me eat McDonald's. And then she was like, okay, well, you need to start packing up your stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm gonna have my mom take you back in a day or two. So I had literally a day to pack up my life of 3.5 years. And I had to leave things there too. So her mom and her brought me home. Actually, I'm skipping a whole bunch of stuff. The night before we left to take me home, I was sitting in the chair in the living room crying, and she was sitting on the couch scrolling on her phone. And she looked up at me, she laughed, and then she went back to her phone. And later that night, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, her mom got off work or something, and she come over, and they both took me all the way back home, which was like a 3.5 hour drive. I cried the whole way. When I got to my dad's, it was my dad's house at the time. Whenever I got there, it was my childhood home too. When I got there, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and no, I think it was like more like 4:30, 4 something. I don't know. Like 4. The goodbye was hard because I kind of knew, I was like, I'm never going to see these people again. And I miss her mom. I miss her mom a lot, and her stepdad, because they were amazing people. Very loving, very accepting, very inclusive, family oriented. You know, they were just awesome people. And I still kept in touch with them for a while after, but you know, things just fall away and people get busy and they have their own lives, and it's like, I totally understand that. So yeah, I didn't sleep for like 3 days straight. I didn't sleep that night I stayed with my friend. No, I didn't sleep the night before. I didn't sleep the night I stayed with my friend. I didn't sleep the night after that. The only time I actually, the moment I finally got to sleep was whenever I got to my dad's house and he was going to work, and he could just see how exhausted and tired I was, and he was just like, why don't you go crawl in my bed? So I did, and his bed was so comfortable that I was just like out. And that was the end of that one. I talked to this one girl. The date we went on was very awkward because every time I tried to ask her a question, or anybody tried to ask her a question, because we went on a double date, she was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, so, what do you think about this? I don't know. Do you like this? I don't know. She was just very much like that. Very short answered. It was awkward. So later that night, you know, she come back to the house, and we decided to make it trying to make it a little unawkward, and we played this game called King's Cup, and it's also called Ring of Fire, but we got smashed off of that, like absolutely smashed. And I don't really remember a whole lot about sleeping with her, but I remember that we did. And she woke up the next morning, and then she was kind of acting weird then too. And it was like the only time she wasn't acting weird is whenever she was drunk. So she made this excuse, you know, I have to go back home because, you know, my job needs me, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if it was an excuse or what, but it felt like an excuse, you know. And she left, and I never saw her again. We talked every now and then, but, you know, she did let me know. She's like, you know, I just didn't feel anything with you. And I'm just like, of course you didn't. Like, no one does. So